What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 410. Man, I've been busy. I've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, which is going to be really cool that I can't wait to show you guys. I changed the camera angles on the podcast, so I hope it's actually good because this camera looks super high. Maybe I got to just be up a little bit higher. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that I haven't been able really to dedicate time to the podcast and do the top best Michael Jackson albums. I've been meaning to do that. And just other lists, because I have a lot of other lists that I wanted to get to. And I've just been super busy. As you guys can see, I haven't really been on social media like that because I just been so much stuff behind the scenes that has been so great and dope that I wish I could say, but I can't. And you guys will know probably in a month or so. And just working with a lot of people, a lot of things, and figuring things out. Going to try a lot of new things too. Well, not really new things. This is something I've been wanting to do, but just haven't really been persistent at it because of all the other stuff that's been going on. But that's, of course, record news every single day and have news on the main channel and podcast channel just up every single day of whatever it is. And even expand on the news that I'm covering because, there's only so much you can cover in hip hop. Sometimes there's no news at all that day. And I might actually expand into covering just like interesting topics, things that I don't normally talk about, but I just want to talk about because I think it's interesting. I think people are interested in it. What's a good example? Let's just say, like the New York Knicks winning, or I wish I could think off the top of my head, but just topics that are not just hip hop, topics that are just the topic right now. I think that would be really cool to cover and just discuss, and things that are kind of, a little bit more sensitive topics. Like that one guy that got arrested, that Chud, the builder, that streamer that was racist. Talk about that and talk about just overall things that are going on. So yeah, I'm probably going to expand, and the podcast probably going to reach out to a little bit more topics outside of just specifically hip hop because there's only so much news. As you guys will see on this podcast episode, yeah, there'll be updates here and there, but it's so quick. And the podcast episode ends up being like 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And I know what could fill that is my list, doing a top 10 list, but that takes, or not a top 10 list, but just like best albums list, but that takes time too because I got to listen to all these projects. And I've been listening to a lot of Michael Jackson albums. And I kind of know where my list's going to be at right now, but I still got to listen to his earlier work with when he was a kid and kind of digest that and see where those are going to land. But his albums that he made when he was, an adult, I pretty much know how the list's going to go. I have a few, maybe 2 albums that I'm switching back and forth on, but that takes time. I don't want to rush those because that's my list. It's going to be out there and people are going to judge me off that list forever, unfortunately, despite, probably like a year or two, I might end up changing it. But, these lists, when I make them, they're out there. It's rare that it ever changes. I want it to be a solid list of stuff. So that's why I'm kind of I don't just put it out there and just say, yo, this is my list. And because people go back to it and people are like, yo, just what you said on this time. And I'm like, well, that was what I said at that time. But things change, as time goes on. But some people forget about that. Some people don't look at the date of when something was made. They just go off of that video, which sometimes I even do. I forget. And sometimes people repost things and re-say, and, so you don't know the official date on some things. But let's get into the news. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, at least news-wise, that's pretty interesting. It's very short. There's a lot of updates. But at least, there's quite a bit in the news. So DaBaby finally settles the lawsuit with Danny Lay's brother. So DaBaby was dating that Danny Lay girl. He got into it with her brother in the bowling alley, and they finally settled a lawsuit. Now, mind you, I reported on this probably maybe when Sean Wayne was here, my former co-host, which was in 2020, 2021. That's how long some of these lawsuits drag out for. It's crazy. So let's go over it. Looks like DaBaby has one less headache on his plate. According to TMZ, the Suge rapper settled the lawsuit filed against him by Brandon Bills, Danny Lay's brother, over their altercation at a bowling alley in California. Court documents revealed that a notice of settlement was filed last Thursday that stated that the matter will be dismissed in the next 45 days. Although details of the settlement have not been made public, this particular saga has been well documented over the past years. Brandon initially asked for $4 million in damages after suing DaBaby and the bowling alley for their alleged injuries he sustained during the altercation. During a deposition, Brandon provided his version of what went down at the bowling alley. He explained that the incident stemmed from DaBaby publicly disrespecting his sister on social media. DaBaby and Danny Lay's Danny Lay share a child together. Brandon said that in response to DaBaby insulting his family, he publicly vowed to fight the rapper if they crossed paths. That ultimately garnered the attention of blogs and hip-hop publications who reported on his comments. When they actually saw each other, Brandon said that DaBaby approached him and told him, "I just want to slap you up a bit. I just want to slap you around a little bit." Brandon also testified that DaBaby struck him first, leading to several other members of his entourage joining in. However, DaBaby said that Brandon was the aggressor in the situation. Meanwhile, DaBaby's seen much success thanks to the release of his single "Pop That Thing, Make Clap." The song gained steam on social media, making it the second song of his career to the top 3 Billboard charts. Rhythmic airplay, rap airplay, and hot rap songs. An impressive feat for someone who has been canceled for the better part of the past few years. I can't stand that song because it's just not my kind of music, popping that pussy and whatever the fuck. I'm not interested in that. Never been interested in that type of music. But shout out to him for at least, having, another hit on his hands and having momentum again, because a lot of people did count him out and said that this guy's, canceled, washed up, all that. So, yeah, they settled a lawsuit. Who knows what they settled for? They wanted $4 million in damages. They probably settled for like $1 million, maybe $2 million. So it's still a lot of money out of DaBaby's pocket. All these years of dragging it on, that's usually what happens in a lot of these lawsuits, unless you really, 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 really feel you're innocent, and you have proof that you're innocent. But clearly there's video footage of this going down and lots of other stuff. So a settlement was going to happen one way or another, but this shit's been dragging on for so many years. It's crazy. Now we finally get the update. But that's why I say on the podcast, I will always keep you guys updated no matter how many years has passed by. I'll let you guys know what happens. So if you cared about this that much, there you go. It's settled. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. If maybe DaBaby gets back with his ex over this, who knows? But we'll see. Prosecutors are going all out for this Lil Durk murder trial, and they're even showing music videos. So let's go over this. Lil Durk continues to face an uphill battle in his murder-for-hire case. His legal team blasted attempts to bolster a weak case with a new indictment against him. In the indictment, XXL reports the appearance of a music video in which Lil Durk kills Quando Lookalike, and also claim he expressed that he can't let the death of King Von slide. Yesterday, Thursday, June 4th, prosecutors reportedly filed a third superseding indictment against The Voice in California. It added the additional charges of conspiracy to commit stalking and murder in aid of racketeering. The music video in question is reportedly an unreleased visual for the song Red Man that allegedly shows Durk shooting and killing a Rondo lookalike. As for the alleged Von statement, this came from an alleged text message of Smirk's. Prosecutors also included the indictment. The indictment is lipstick on a pig, Lil Durk's legal team stated. Which we already talked about. But they even showed like text messages of Durk. Let me see if I can find this because it's not on this article. But they showed text messages of Durk, like basically saying he's not going to let the King Von incident slide, which is crazy. So yeah, this Lil Durk, as soon as he heard the news about King Von being killed, allegedly texted his co-conspirators, "I can't let this slide. Von dying turned me into a different animal." Which is crazy, man. There's somebody snitching. Somebody that was in the crew is leaking everything that's going on. Unfortunately, the internet, I think, got to Durk's head as well, because everybody's saying slide for Von, which crazy, man. At that level of money and fame, like, how are you still attached to this stuff? How are you not out? There's been like every rapper from the 80s, 90s to 2000s in one way, shape, or form was attached to the streets. And either they got out 100% or they kept people around them that were smart in how they moved. And if you look at how King Von died, unfortunately, it just wasn't a smart thing. It was just very, very random and stupid. Like, it could have been avoided. It wasn't that big of a deal. Him fighting, it's like, why would you just randomly pop up on Quando and start swinging and fighting? Like, it was just so avoidable. It's one of those deaths where it's like, why? Like, it's so stupid, it doesn't make any sense. It's the same shit with Pop Smoke. It's like, how do you get killed? I mean, even Juice WRLD, same shit. It's like, Pop Smoke didn't let go of his jewelry while he was butt naked in the shower, and that's how you get killed. Like, why not just, yo, you got me, man. I'm butt naked in the shower with my jewelry on. You have a gun pointed at me. Hey, man, take my shit. What do you know? Even if you stuff a dildo in my ass, no Diddy. Like, I'm going to have to take it. Take that. Because it's just like, what are you going to... What can you do in that situation? Sorry to make it into a fucking random shit, but I'm just saying, like, in that situation, that person that person can just literally do whatever. Like, they have a gun pointed at me. I'm butt naked. What do you want me to do? Hey, if you're saying, hey, shove a dildo in my ass, I'm just gonna have to do it. It just is what it is. You win. That's my mentality at that point. Not saying that I want to do that. I'm just saying, like, hey, you got a gun to me, bro. Like, there's you can force me to do whatever at that point. And I'm naked. Like, it's like, you got me. It is what it is. But that's why I'm so dumbfounded at some of this stuff. I'm like, if I'm in that situation, like, you got me. Do whatever. Take my jewelry, rob me of everything, beat me up with a gun. Just don't shoot me and kill me. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. At that point, you got me. And then the Juice WRLD thing is just like, the guy just like shoved a bunch of drugs to hide. Like, it's just, that's a dumb way of dying. It's like, you know, like, why would you do that? Like, just take the charges or have one of your homies take the charges. Don't shove a bunch of pills in your mouth and kill yourself. Like, I just get like, and the King Von thing, and it's like, you know, what's sad is the Nipsey Hussle thing. It's like, he was out there. Yeah, he could have moved smarter, but hey, it's his neighborhood. He's comfortable out there. That was sad. That was like, fuck, like, what else? You know, like car accidents, shit that like you can't, like, it just happens. It just is what it is. But like, these 3 that got killed was just so avoidable. It was just so dumb way of dying. Like, the Juice WRLD's the worst, I think, in my opinion. It's like, come on, man. Don't swallow these pills. They can definitely kill you. Take the charge. It is what it is. Serve some time. Get out of there. You'll be done. The King Von, another thing. It's like, why fight at this random moment? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Very random. And then, I mean, even a Takeoff. That's another, like, it's a dumb dice situation and somebody innocent gets killed. You know, it's just like, the way these guys went out was just so terrible. You know, it's like, yeah, but we'll see what happens with the Lil Durk murder for hire trial. I just, you know, they're really going hard, man. They're going hard, and I don't think he's going to make it, man. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The way that they're prosecuting, I mean, Durk's got an insane lawyers, like, that's backing him, but if they got evidence, if people are turning on Durk, he's out of here, man. I don't think he's going to get out, but we'll see. Hopefully he gets out. Hopefully he actually didn't do any of this stuff, because you don't want a murderer out at the end of the day. I don't care what kind of music you make. You're out here murdering people, get the fuck out of here. You're locked up. Like any other normal person murdering people, you guys would want locked up. But because it's Lil Durk and he's a rapper, no. Like, if they find him guilty of this stuff, hey, man, keep him locked up. Fuck all that. So we'll see what happens. Pooh Shiesty's Gucci Mane kidnapping case is hit with a significant delay. No surprise here, man. There's nothing. None of these trials go the exact way they're supposed to. Pooh Shiesty was set to go on trial July 6th for alleged kidnapping of Gucci Mane, but that has since been delayed. Pooh Shiesty is currently in a high-profile legal situation. According to reports, the artist allegedly robbed and kidnapped Gucci Mane at gunpoint. This was allegedly due to a contract dispute, which also involved the Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty's father, Latrell Williams Sr. They are set to go on trial along 6 other defendants. Overall, this has been one of the biggest ongoing stories in hip-hop. Pooh Shiesty's FDO was a smash hit upon release from prison, but in the fall of last year, however, his progress has been stalled, and given the charges at hand, he could be going to prison for up to 30 years if convicted. Originally, the trial was set for July 6th of this year, but according to Bryson Boom Paul, that has ultimately changed. Judge David Gabi recently made a pretrial ruling calling the case complex. As a result, the trial will now begin February 22nd, 2027. We're looking at essentially 8-9 months down the line instead of what would have been a month from now. So yeah, February 2027. And what's interesting is his team, Pooh Shiesty's team, is seeking bail. They want to see if they can get him out on bail to, you know, work and do his thing and not, you know, sit in prison for the next 8 to 9 months. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get that. They're going to try to see, but I doubt they're going to get that. But we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, no surprise here, man. Like I said, none of these things go according to plan. Any date that's set, don't even think that it's going to happen, because these things always get pushed back or something happens. It's rare that any of these go on time according to plan. But yeah, that's the updates for the Pooh Shiesty Gucci Mane robbery. A new Diddy lawsuit, and this one is accusing him of being involved with Lil kids. So let's go over this. Diddy's legal issues are far from over. In the midst of speculation that new charges could be filed in California, there's also a massive pile of lawsuits that he must address. We've reported on a few developments as of late, including the male escort Clayton Howard's response to Diddy's attempt to dismiss his suit, as well as where a former employee accused Diddy chief of staff of orchestrating the freak-offs. According to TMZ, the latest lawsuit against Diddy involves allegations that he sexually assaulted a minor. The man who filed the lawsuit, listed as John Doe, said that he met the mogul when he was a child actor in 2007 at a networking event in Hollywood Hills. When the mogul invited him to discuss further opportunities, the accuser claims Diddy touched his body before allegedly performing fellatio and pleasuring himself simultaneously. John Doe said that he told Diddy he was uncomfortable prior. The accuser said that Diddy told him that he would contact him if any opportunities came about before leaving the room, and Doe said that he left shortly after. Doe claims the agents involved in his career had a duty to protect him from predators like this. He's now suing Diddy and the agents for unspecified damages. What did Diddy's rep say? Rep for Diddy, Judah Engelmeyer, told the outlet that allegations are false and ridiculous. The allegations from the so-called nameless child actor are false and ridiculous. He's just another hater in a long list of people trying to get in on the money gravy train. A hater, money gravy, that's funny. Encouraged by personal injury lawyers. The statement reads, Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, and that includes any child. These allegations will be disproved like all the rest. We will keep you posted on any further updates surrounding the lawsuits involving Diddy. No surprise here, man. More things are going to pile up, and I don't think he's been accused of minor stuff yet. I think this might be the first one. I could be wrong because he's been hit with he's had a few lawsuits dismissed, but he still has 60 to 70 lawsuits that he's got to essentially go over and fight. So, I think this might be the first one, but I could be wrong. But we'll see what happens moving forward. Still crazy nonetheless. Jadakiss has revealed that DJ Khaled got mad at him because he liked a Drake song that dissed Khaled, the part where he talks about Free Palestine, which is crazy to think about because Jadakiss is now part of the media, but that's kind of where you got to play. If you're already have been in the music industry and you make content now, you got to it's politics essentially. You got to watch what you say. And this is why I'm glad I was never in the industry. And now I can just speak freely of however I want with things, obviously with respect, because I'm not here to, ultimately disrespect anybody besides the guy, William Roberts. But other than that, having this where you have to watch what you say because you're part of the industry really sucks. So let's play what Jadakiss said on the Joe and Jada podcast when he revealed this.
You got all type of things happening. I got to apologize for doing nothing, for being a journalist. I got that from Nori.
Oh, you're a journalist?
I'm in media. They said, Khaled got mad. Khaled, I love you. I'm not taking sides, Khaled. We was debating on the story. I only met Drake once. I'm just giving a fair shake of the story. We can't keep it. If me and Joe both love you, if we both go for you, it makes the show is garbage.
Yeah.
You got to give just a fair shake of the thing. I'm not taking no sides.
I'm glad you hit that,
I'm
right?
on hip-hop.
Pause. I'm glad you hit that. Pause. Fist the ass. But listen to what I'm saying. Hold on. Nah. Look, sometimes we say pause just because it's pause.
Yeah.
But Jada really said fist the ass. They really do that shit.
Hold on.
That's really a fucking...
He's taking it. No, did you watch the video?
I saw the shit.
You watched
No, yo, you want to go there?
I saw the video.
Yo, the video?
What are you talking about?
They said that nigga had the cannonball run.
After this, it seems like they may have mended things because DJ Khaled on Instagram posted the new Fat Joe song with Jadakiss. And in that song, Fat Joe's actually dissing Gucci Mane. He has some bars in there going at Gucci Mane. So go ahead and check that out. I believe the song is called Victory. Let me see. Fat Joe Victory. Because he just dropped a Victory Lap. Sorry. Let's actually go over those bars and see where he disses Gucci. I mean, there's speculation that he disses Gucci, so it's not 100% official, but the bar says, young guys, old guys, everybody telling one rat beats a 3-time felon. Shit wasn't Gucci, man. Nobody ever liked me. Robbing guys so icy because I'm shiesty. So, yeah, I think he's definitely going at Gucci Mane on there. But nonetheless, this whole DJ Khaled thing makes no damn sense. Attacking somebody for being media and all this stuff is just corny in my eyes. And Khaled, he has bad press regardless. He was courtside with Fat Joe and everybody was clowning him saying, you're sitting courtside, you're doing this, you're doing that, but you can't even speak up for your people, so on and so forth. So Khaled's had bad press for a long time now, and doing this just doesn't really make sense. I'm 100% on Fat Joe and Jadakiss' side. Once you cross to the media realm, you're pretty much a media personality, a content creator, whatever you want to call it, and you should be allowed to speak freely as long as you're not spreading misinformation. But if you have an opinion that, hey, I like this track, even though it's dissing somebody, so what, man? You like the track. If you're getting butthurt about that, then fuck off, basically, is what I would say. It's like, hey, man, everybody can have their opinion. It's not like he was dissing Khaled directly and saying, fuck Khaled. He was just like, yo, I like this track. It's a dope-ass track. That's it. And it just happened to have some bars dissing Khaled. So what? It is what it is. Get over your feelings. But that's my take on it. And, yeah, I think it's just let people be media personalities that they are now. Griselda is having some public now issues, which is interesting. And it involves Jay-Z to a certain extent. So let's go over this article. Ever since Griselda blew up, there has always been rumors about internal rifts and issues, and its members have dismissed them overall. But Mal recently claimed Jay-Z allegedly advised Westside Gunn about how to give Conway the Machine and Benny Butcher equity in the label. As such, these questions are popping up back again. On a new Roll Your Mall podcast, later claimed Hove told Gunn to give Conway and Benny a 10% equity, 5% each in Griselda Records, which Westside allegedly refused. This supposedly caused a rift between a group. A recent verse from Benny and Conway, specifically his Make Them Pay freestyle, seemed to allege reference this tension. However, Westside Gunn denied this on Twitter. He said, everybody want to go viral so bad, shit disgusting. I'm honestly surprised this is a thing. Going viral is never in my thoughts. I spoke to Con and Benny today. Mal responded to Gunn. They had an Instagram exchange that reciprocated the same energy. Still, it's unclear whether Westside is calling cap on the rift itself or the claims about the equity offer. Maybe they will address this soon, but it seems like fans are already picking sides. Yeah, this is bars from Conway the Machine on the Make Them Pay freestyle. He says, dinner with Hove. He told my dog, give your brother a piece. I saw it in his eyes right then. He don't want me to eat. So, yeah, Benny the Butcher hasn't really said anything, and he's kind of staying away from it. That's what I heard from behind the scenes stuff, and he's kind of just like, yo, I'm not in between this. I don't know what the hell is going on. I would assume in a 3-person group that each person would get 33 and 3rd%. That makes total sense. Unless, like, obviously you have managers and people involved where they own a certain percentage, because that's going to happen. If you're trying to build a record label, there's going to be people that are investors. They're going to want percentage in the company. But whatever. Let's just say they get 20% each at 60% total with 3 of the rappers. And then the 40% goes to investors and whoever else. That would be fair. It just would make perfect sense. But who knows, man, with these contracts and what's going on, you never know behind the scenes. And you got to be on your shit. Because somebody could end up owning all the stuff that you did and you don't even realize it. But, yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward, but this is interesting nonetheless. This is some quick news, and Eminem and Jay-Z appear on the Rakim, Corrupt, and Master Killa album. But it is an interlude, and they confirmed that it's just interview clips. So I just want to clarify that because everybody's hyped and going crazy. It's just, I think, interview clips that are put into one on the project, which is kind of crazy. Just to get approval to do that is great in itself. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I know a lot of people are getting hyped and tagging me, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. But that's what that is. So don't get too crazy excited over it. Cameron has revealed his opinion on Jay-Z's Roots Picnic freestyle. And he says it wasn't impressive. So check out this clip.
He like, yo, his words like, yo, your words can't reach God. I'm too high in the sky to hear what niggas is saying. Must have came down because you're paying attention to what niggas is saying, you know what I'm saying? But what I will say is this, and I'm not saying it should or shouldn't, because he dissed a bunch of people, but Drake is competitive too.
Yeah.
He's a competitive nigga, and I think that by that freestyle not hitting the way that his freestyles usually hit, this is an opportunity if Drake wants to take an opportunity and step up and be like, that ain't it, homeboy. Like, whatever, how he really wants to word it.
I agree with Cameron, man. And it's not because I'm a Jay-Z generational hater. I just think that Jay-Z freestyle, it did its thing for the first hour. I mean, not hour, sorry. But the first 48 hours. And then after that, it kind of came and went. And people are saying, look how much impact Jay-Z made off of one freestyle. Oh my God. Like, this is why he's the GOAT MC. He's making more impact than Drake. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, Drake is 5 weeks at #1 with Iceman. 2 weeks at #1, Janet, shut the fuck up. Like, why is there even a comparison of freestyle versus a fucking album release? Now, when Jay-Z drops his album, then we can see how much of impact Jay-Z actually makes. Will his album stay 5 weeks at #1, or will it just be #1 the first week and then maybe the second week and then fall off? That's a proper comparison. But that freestyle, even Cameron said this too, and I agree with him, is he tried to pack too much into responding to everybody, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. I think that flies better when it's on a track with a beat versus a freestyle. I think with a freestyle, he should have just because he's having these shows come up, and he announced 2 more shows, one in Paris and then one in California, I believe. Because he's having these shows come up, he should do the freestyles at those shows and directly aim at one specific person that's worth the rebuttals. Like, to me, I think the rebuttals that is worth targeting is Drake, Kanye, Nicki, 50, and Dame, probably, because Dame has a lot of history. So Dame as well. The rest, with Tory, with Jaguar Wright, with I don't know who else he responded to. The rest, I really want to give them, especially Jaguar Wright and Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez locked up. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I would just brush them off. But those individuals that I mentioned, from Drake to Kanye to 50 to Nicki and Dame, they have some sort of power when they speak. They have momentum and motive, and they can push narratives, let's just say. Drake should be the #1 guy that Jay-Z should be addressing and responding to, because Drake's the one that's got more motion and power and narratives to push and all that than all those other guys combined, basically. And then you address Nicki, because Nicki's got a huge fan base and she's been going at you for a long time. Kanye as well. 50 as well, because 50's been trolling the shit out of you and accusing you of being with minors and all this stuff. So I hope in these next shows that he does address directly certain individuals and releases more new freestyles. Or, announces that he's dropping a new album with disses towards people on that album, maybe. It would be interesting nonetheless. But I agree with Cameron. I think Drake is a competitor too, and I think Drake can compete with Jay-Z. I don't think, because, think about it. What more can Jay-Z say to try to destroy Drake's career? He's already had everything thrown at him, and he's outstanding at that. So now, if they were to compete, the only approach that Jay-Z can take is, you used to look up to me, and I never looked up to you, and I own my masters, and you don't. And that's really just basically big boy in him. That's really about it. I can't really think of an angle that could make people be like, whoa, Jay-Z destroyed Drake. But Drake can take a lot of angles towards Jay-Z, because there's been a lot of stuff that's been piling up towards Jay-Z. A lot. And just being best friends with Diddy. That's like a whole song you can make out of that. But yeah, I think the battle needs to happen. I think it'll be really dope for hip hop. I think it's a tug between the newer generation, older generation. So I think it would just be interesting, because I don't think we've had a battle of the newer generation versus older. Actually, we did with Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly. That's a good one. Eminem and even Melly Mel, which is even crazier generation gap. But yeah, like a newer generation, older generation battle is more interesting, I think, than current generation. Like Drake and Kendrick are together because they came out at the same time in their careers, versus Jay-Z and Drake, where Jay-Z came out in the 90s, Drake came out in the 2010s, right? So yeah, I agree with Cameron, and I think Drake could really, really put damage to Jay-Z if he really wants to. That's my take on it. And I know some people are going to be like, hell nah, Jay-Z's. I'm not saying Drake's going to wash Jay-Z by any means. It's going to be an interesting battle. That's what's going to make it really dope to see. But I think Drake could actually take on this, no problem. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And Ricky Ross, the biggest boast that you've seen thus far, is getting clowned online again. And this time it's for flying commercial. But that's not all. His album that's set to be released this upcoming Friday on June 12th has also gotten pushed back. And people are having a field day with both of these things, because Rick Ross, really the past, I want to say a month and a half, has practically ruined his career by doing interviews, clowning Drake, by doing interviews acting like he's the bigger rapper when it comes to 50 Cent and Drake. And he even got exposed on the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet David, or whatever his name is. He was pressing him about stealing the real Rick Ross's identity and name. And he's just been having a horrible like past month and a half when it comes to just who he is as a brand, identity, person. So let's first go over Rick Ross getting spotted flying economy. And this is funny because on Whisper My Name, Drake actually mentioned this in the song. He said, if I'm lying, I'm flying economy. I bet I know who I see, which now is hilarious because we're seeing Rick Ross fly commercial and economy. But, you know, there's probably various reasons to this. I'm somebody who's not really a fan of Rick Ross, never have been, even before he was beefing with 50 and before all that. Basically, when I found out he was a correctional officer back in 2008, I just stopped rocking with him because the music just didn't seem authentic to me anymore. But, you know, people are clowning him for flying like this, but sometimes that happens to the best of the best. Any celebrity can be caught in this type of situation because there's probably multiple reasons. One, if he had a private jet to go to these tours that he's doing, probably somebody offered to pay to take his private jet. Not his private jet, but his spot in flying at that time with the private jet. And usually somebody offers you, let's just say you have a route to go on your private jet from Miami to, let's just say, Los Angeles. And there's somebody else that wants to use that private jet at that time. Sometimes you can give up your spot and say, hey, just pay me for whatever it is, and you can make your money back and then just fly commercial, especially if you don't have to be there like immediately, right? Sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you're just flying private just because of the luxury of it. But that's what usually private's for, is just to get to a spot way quicker than having to go through, you know, commercial and all these other stuff. That takes a lot longer of a process. And, you know, you pay for the convenience, the 10x price or 15x price with the private because of the convenience and the fast factor of it. I believe Kevin Hart talked about this. So that could be one reason why he wasn't flying private. Two, just to save money. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody, you know, at a certain point, I would be, listen, if somebody paid for my private jet to go somewhere, I would legit pocket that money and just fly first class or business class and go somewhere, because private jets are anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 to $75,000 just to go somewhere. So sometimes it's not worth that. What's hilarious is 50 flies private literally everywhere. So when he does tours, like he just went to Italy and flew private like it was nothing. Ross is doing his failed tour right now. He got exposed for having a failed tour by me. I exposed it on the Port of Miami 20th anniversary. No tickets. He sold out only like 30% of the tickets, 40%, especially in Miami, in his hometown. He's struggling to do that. So he's had a terrible media like coverage for the past month and a half, from his tour flop into now this flying economy. You know, because he talks this talk about being the best and being rich and extravagant, and then he gets caught in this situation. Yeah, it could be to save money. Yeah, I know the internet clowns for some of the dumbest things, but still, at the end of the day, when you have this, oh, I'm the biggest boss, I'm better than everybody. I mean, he's talking about being better than Drake and being richer than Drake. Like, what are we talking about here? We know Drake is richer. We know Drake is the bigger artist. When you're doing your tour and you have to perform mainly Drake records that are featured on your tracks, that's when you know he's a bigger artist and better artist than you. And then he talks about 50 and clowns him and says he lives in a 2-bedroom apartment, yet you see 50 flying private jets every single time he posts on Instagram, wherever he goes. Just went to Italy, like I said, past couple of days, flew private there. The worst thing about this economy photos that people took is that it looks like Rick Ross is trying to hide his identity by putting his hoodie up and trying to like make sure that nobody sees him flying like this. So he might be ashamed of it himself, or he just did that because he doesn't want people coming up and trying to take photos and be like, yo, Rick Ross, what's up? Stuff like that. But still, at the end of the day, man, if you're doing all this clowning towards certain artists and you're saying you're the best and you're the biggest and the richest and the biggest boss and all this, to get caught like that is hilarious. It just shows that you're nowhere near what you are saying you are. Now, the next thing that people are clowning Rick Ross for, and this is very, very valid, is his album Set in Stone was set to be released this upcoming Friday on June 12th. And if you look, Drake's Iceman album is still #1 and still selling over 100,000 first week. That would be embarrassing for Rick Ross to drop his album, and the first week it'd be outsold by Drake's 4th week on the charts. That would be a huge blow to his ego, and people would clown him indefinitely. So he has pushed the album back, I believe. Let me see when the date is. It's been pushed back to July 17th. So another month, essentially. Because hopefully he's hoping by then Drake's Iceman isn't charting at #1 anymore. because it's been number one for 4 weeks now, selling over 100,000. At least the first week it did like whatever, it did the 400 something thousand. The second week it did 170, and it's still been doing 100 like every week. So that would be embarrassing if Drake in 1 month into his album's release is outselling Rick Ross's new release. So that's why he pushed it back. That's another blow to his ego, another blow to his career. So it's been back to back to back stuff, and I'm glad because this guy runs his mouth as if he's the biggest, the best, the greatest to ever do it. And then this pops up. He's flying economy. He's pushing his album back. His tour isn't selling worth of shit. And he's getting pressed by random podcasts like Patrick's, where Patrick just dismantled him. Shout out to him for actually being aggressive and asking these questions, because he was like, you literally stole the real Rick Ross's identity. And how does the rapper Rick Ross respond? Oh, he's a crackhead. He's this and that. He ain't got money, this and that. And then a month later, we see you flying economy, and your album's getting pushed back. You can't sell any tickets to your tour. Your book isn't even in the best New York Times bestsellers list. Nowhere near there. So he's failing in every aspect. And, anybody who ever thought Rick Ross was anywhere near 50 Cent or a Drake is just delusional in every way, shape, or form. Now, you can have your opinion on Rick Ross's music and say his music is better. That's your opinion. But the world disagrees, because the world is listening more to 50 and more to Drake than they ever are to Rick Ross. And people are going to, throw this dumb old argument of, well, Vanilla Ice did this. Well, MC Hammer did this. Does that mean that they're better? It's a whole different conversation. If you know your history in music, you know that back then you would have to literally buy a full album just to listen to one good song off the album. Singles were sold back then, but it was in a lot less quantities versus albums. So that's why those guys went platinum and diamond and all this stuff. Because if you look at their streaming songs right now, you'll notice that Vanilla Ice only has like 1 to 2 songs that actually stream good. Same with MC Hammer, because they have no other records. Versus 50, who has like 6 songs that are over 1 billion streams, like 20 songs that are over 500 million streams, like 30 songs that are over 100 million streams, which I'm exaggerating with some of the numbers, but you get my point, is that a lot of his music is doing well versus 1 or 2 songs. Same with Drake. So that argument just never made sense to me. It's low IQ argument. It's an argument when you don't know what you're talking about at all. You throw that out there and say, look, popularity doesn't mean that someone's better. Of course, having 1 good song or 2 good songs doesn't make you better than somebody. And that's the point. 50 doesn't have 1 or 2 good songs. He has albums that are considered great albums. Of course, Get Rich or Die Trying is considered classic all-time. Anybody who disagrees with that is just a moron. But even The Massacre, even Curtis, even Before I Self-Destruct, yeah, they might not have sold as much. I mean, Massacre is the fastest-selling album for black artists in music history since they started counting in 1991. So, that wouldn't happen if the guy didn't make great music. And there's hit records on that album. He is actually the first solo artist to have 3 songs in the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 at that time. That's how big 50 was impacting with his music. To say that he only had 1 record or that he had 1 good album is just that. I never understood that argument as well. Now, granted, Rick Ross has a lot more music out, a lot more albums out. But at the end of the day, the 5 albums that 50 put out versus the 10, I don't know what album this is, the 12th album, I think, or whatever he's releasing, versus the 5 that 50 put out. 50's getting way more traction off the 5 that he's put out versus Rick Ross's 12, which just goes to show sometimes it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And we know Drake. I ain't even got to make the argument for Drake. Right now, he's just breaking insane, dumb records left and right, and he's got hit records. You can do a tour and sell out in seconds. Like, there's no argument with Drake. That's not even anything that, if you don't like the music, that's just your opinion at the end of the day. Your opinion doesn't make it fact. What makes it facts is the numbers. You look at the numbers, you look at the tours, which people say boosting streams with these artists, but when they go on tour, they sell out. So how is that fake? Where does the fake correlation come at? You can only boost so much. Now, if Drake was boosting, right, on streams, like everybody's accusing him of him doing these insane boosts and all fake, then if he went on tour, he wouldn't sell out. He'd probably get maybe 5,000 people to show up, which is still great, but still, that would be horrible versus the numbers that he's putting up. But no, he does a tour, sells out in seconds, in minutes, no problem. Same with 50, just did the Final Lap tour. Every area almost sold out. 90% in some areas, maybe 85% in some areas. But for the most part, he sold out basically everywhere, globally, not just in America, but globally. Because their music actually sticks with people. You can see the streams. You can see daily how much people are listening to the music. That's the beautiful part in today's time, is you can actually see daily what these people are listening to. And yet people still, oh, Rick Ross' catalog is better. Okay, that's your opinion. That's one person versus the 6, 7, 8 billion people. I don't even know how much people we got in the earth now because all this fertilization and all this other crazy shit that's happening. But you get my point. So yeah, Rick Ross is getting embarrassed, cooked, and rightfully so, man. I'm glad that he's getting cooked like this because he's been running his mouth, pretending like he's the biggest boss ever. And, he's flying economy. Album's getting pushed back because nobody gives a shit. Book isn't selling at all, not even nowhere near the New York Times bestseller. Tour is flopping. Every area is like at 30, 40% capacity sold. And that just tells you over time, like, it's the long game. It's not about, like, I remember this vividly in 2010. People were clowning 50, destroying him, saying Ross cooked you. He got hit records. He's hotter than you and all this. And what did 50 say in 2013, 2014? He was like, all right, he may have won the battle, but let's look at the war. And here we are with the war. And I do this in my Who Really Won videos. I talk about the battle and the war. The war is the long term. Let's see where you're at. And you compare 50 to Ross, long-term 50's destroying him. Like, it's not even from musically with the tours, from business-wise, he's dominating. 50's got deals lined up that are insane. But yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. I'm not really clowning Ross for flying economy. I think sometimes it's a smart decision to do. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, if somebody was paying for me to fly private or to fly first class, I would honestly go to economy, pocket that money. I wouldn't care what anybody would say. To me, the internet and what they say. So for that, I don't really care too much. But for all this other stuff, him pushing his album back, his tour flopping, his book flopping, that I'm laughing at because he talks all this big game and talk, and he's struggling in every aspect of his career right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Adding on to the Rick Ross commercial flight thing that's happened, Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda have decided to pile on and clown him for flying commercial while they enjoy private flights left and right, courtesy of 50 Cent. So Uncle Murda tagged Rick Ross on Instagram of the viral photo that's going of him flying commercial. And Rick Ross decided to respond on Instagram on video, clowning Uncle Murda, 50, and Yayo.
I'm at the #1 dentist in the game, and what I want to do is I want to give back. Uncle Murda, you ain't never killed nothing, but what I want to do is give you and all your kids a free cleaning. Mario Montoya, #1 dentist. The kids never experienced this. I'm offering you and your kids a free teeth cleaning. And I'll repair, I'll take any silver cavities out, and I'll make sure they get the best work. Now, I know what 50 going through right now. He may not be in the mood for this, Daphne Joy. That man was standing there with that chopper, and I'm out. And I know what Seer can be going through, and I want to bring Seer out and get his teeth clean. I know him. He know me. Little kid, I seen him around. Uncle Murda, let Dollar General know. 50, let him know. So like I say, man, Mario Montoya, #1 smile in the game, $1 billion smile. I can help get your teeth clean. I can't help you with that dermatology work you need, but this, yeah, big boy. Nah, for real though. I don't know what that's like, but I can only imagine. That nigga had that chopper and that nigga, my baby mama mouth. But I'm gonna let you know, 50, take it like a player. You had a child from a sex worker. She a sex worker. No big deal. Let her come to the car show. The car show this Saturday. Let her come to the car show. Bring Seer to the car show. Uncle Murda, you could bring Seer. I promise nothing won't happen to you. I promise. It ain't nothing but peace at the promised land. But bring little man, and it's all good. He can get his teeth clean too.
Now let's talk about Uncle Murda's response. He recorded him and Yayo going through the airport. And basically with this response, he was like, hey, stop being ashamed of sometimes flying commercial. There's nothing wrong with that. Putting your hoodie up and hiding and all this stuff. So check out this clip.
We ain't hiding like Rick Ross in the airport neither. It's all good. Heading back to New York. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Riding through the airport. We ain't on the low. We outside. How y'all doing, people?
Now, I'm glad that Uncle Murda and Yayo are the ones responding to Rick Ross because that's more of Rick Ross's level. 50, I'm glad, is completely ignoring him as he should. Please, 50, keep ignoring this guy. He does not deserve your any type of promo. It's better for you to respond to Papoose than this guy, like literally, because Ross is just not relevant. Book is flopping, tour is flopping, albums gets pushed back. The guy's struggling right now. He's struggling. So after all that, Rick Ross decides the next day to address why he wasn't flying his quote-unquote private jet. So check out this clip.
For the ones who want to know where my jet at, I obviously didn't get the memo. It's being updated with Starlink. You know what Starlink is? Yeah, that's the $500,000 Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's where my jet at. And I chose to fly commercial to Colombia to go party with Trick Daddy and Ball Greasy at the Escape the States vibe. And that was a hell of a vibe. I had an amazing time. When I was leaving, that hoodie was low. Rose did it big. The boat. And y'all better stop worrying about what rich niggas doing. Shit, if I send my jet to go pick my mama up and I fly motherfucking commercial, that's what I do for mama. If I send a jet to go drop her off, I walk for mama. Just so that shit y'all on, I miss that. So y'all laughing at the young niggas who on martyr? You can't do that. Damn sure you can't laugh at a rich nigga. Y'all niggas better stay focused. And since it's a big deal for Rose to fly commercial, sometimes I might have to buy me a wing at the Atlanta airport. I buy the whole C wing.
Here's the thing that people are missing and what Rick Ross is missing. Ross brags about being the richest, the biggest boss, and all this stuff. If he didn't do that, people wouldn't really care that he's flying commercial. I mean, there's been plenty of celebrities that have been caught flying commercial. Who cares? It's just this guy brags as if he's everything. He's super rich. He's a billionaire. He's this, he's that. That's why he's getting so much flack. And in this video, he blames the whole situation on his jet getting updated with Starlink, which is false. And then he says, yo, if I would have took my jet would have picked up my mama, I would have not taken the jet. Well, I have a flight tracking history of your quote-unquote jet, and it hasn't flown anywhere for nearly a month. 1 month. So that's a lie. And it doesn't take the jet that long to get updated with Starlink. Maybe it takes a week, 2 weeks max. So that's not really, the Rick Ross jet is not really his jet. He just plastered his name on it, and he pays some type of money to make it seem like it's his by plastering his name on it. That's all it is. You know, and the thing is with Rick Ross is that big-ass mansion that he has is going to haunt him in the future because as money starts to dwindle, because nobody's really interested in Rick Ross anymore. The music ain't hitting like it once was. The tours ain't making the money. The books ain't making the money. All the maintenance on that house and that mansion in Miami and in Atlanta is going to catch up to him. Because in order to have that, you need to be able to be bringing in a sufficient amount of income. And his music definitely ain't doing that. He ain't out here doing diamond albums and triple platinum and quadruple platinum. He has 1 platinum album, and he's lucky he got that because of streaming. So I say all that to say this guy is, you know, lies left and right and gets away with it, and people just accept it. It's over and over again. But yeah, there's the proof with his jet not even flying. It's been over a month. Hasn't moved anywhere. Like I said, I provide you guys with proof. I provide you guys with facts. Go to Flight Tracker, look up his jet, and you'll see it hasn't moved in over a month. And if you're watching this on video, you can see it on the screen. But yeah, another biggest fraud that we've seen thus far, William Roberts. If there is ever a time to question whether 50 Cent is a snitch or not, it's right now. And the guy that's speaking up for 50 saying he's not a snitch and there is no paperwork is one of the guys that used to hate 50, or at least his friend and partner used to have beef with him and allegedly put a hit out on 50. And this is Prince Miller, who is one half of the Supreme team. Obviously, Supreme and Prince were the two leaders. And then when Supreme got locked up, Prince took over. But you know, the Ghetto Quran lyrics from 50's song, Supreme was the businessman, Prince was the killer. So Prince has his own show called The Prince Miller Show. And on there, he brought on Supreme's son to talk about the whole moment where 50 said that Jimmy Henchman got stabbed up by World Hardy in prison. Then Jimmy Henchman called Preem's son to clarify that he's walking around, everything is fine, he never got stabbed up, none of that. And they discussed that moment. And Prince goes off on a tangent on his podcast and says, this guy is a rat. He's a snitch. And he used you as a vessel to speak out, but whenever 50 calls him a snitch and calls him out, he never speaks to defend that. And then he even says, hey, I offered for Jimmy Henchman to provide paperwork to me so I could expose that 50's a snitch, and he still hasn't provided it. None of it. So this whole conversation is interesting on the whole podcast, so definitely check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. But I'm going to play some clips for you, and this is the first one I'm going to play. On this clip, Prince Miller puts on the table all the paperwork that Jimmy Henchman has of him snitching on people, putting people behind bars, and he explains how this is why Jimmy Henchman could do what he did in the street and then get in the music industry, was because he was an informant for years and years and years.
Moving forward, I'm going to take you through all his documents, his non-profit sessions, all the papers, the people who got arrested, the information he provided, all right there. I'm just going to show it to you, man, so that you know what you're dealing with. Then the choice is yours to make. And the only reason why is that one thing about this program right here, there ain't no faking when I speak. If I say somebody ain't right, you can take it to the bank. I got the proof. I can show it. I got lawyers. I can get sealed documents, anything I need to get. But I'm not here to just expose people. I'm here to teach people. See, he was able to exist in the street for a long time because he was giving information up to the federal government, the Eastern District of New York, and others. It's all right here. So he was able to exist for a long time. And so he was able to make his way into the entertainment business and do the things he did on the backs of people he was sending to the prison.
How'd you get all that shit?
It's not hard, man. It's very easy when you know the law, you know? But it's not even important no more because, to be honest with you, what I'm saying is it's only important because it's a lesson to be learned.
That's a crazy clip. I mean, he just puts on the table this big paperwork and says, yeah, this is what this guy has done. And then following that, he talks about 50 Cent and says, yeah, there's been, 50 spreads rumors of people or talks, smack about people. Like he talked about Supreme getting his arm broken in prison, and Supreme's son's like, I always try to refute what 50 says because the people he talks about can't speak to defend themselves because Supreme's locked up, Jimmy Henchman's locked up, and then when he went at Irv Gotti was dead. So Supreme's son's like, I use myself as a vessel for them to speak, and that's why he spoke with Jimmy Henchman to talk about, the whole stabbing incident. And then Prince Miller reveals that he put out the message to Jimmy Henchman and said, listen, if you can provide me paperwork that 50 has snitched in any way, shape, or form, I will put it on the show and I will expose him and talk about it. But Jimmy Henchman never provided any paperwork because paperwork doesn't exist. It's never existed. And this is from Prince Miller. This is a guy who was tied to the group who allegedly put out the hit on 50 to kill him. And this is Supreme's son on the podcast. Like, these are the guys that are supposed to be the most against 50, technically, right? And if they're like, yo, there's no paperwork that this guy's a snitch, then who gives a shit what other people say? Because there's so many people that put this narrative out that the 50's a snitch, 50's a snitch because of Ghetto Quran. Even Prince Miller was like, I took Ghetto Quran as an honor. He was like bigging up everybody. I don't take it as a snitch record. But yeah, check out this clip. It's very interesting.
Don't let nobody use you, and don't be a willing participant to want to be used either, because that's a lot your fault. Mm-hmm. It's really more your fault than it is Jimmy's fault. Mm-hmm. Jimmy wanted to get something out in the air because 50 lied on him. And he wanted to clear the air. You know what I'm saying? But 50 said other things about him, and he wasn't so quick to talk about it. And let's get to the root of some real stuff, and then we're gonna leave it alone. I sent word, right or wrong. I said, man, tell that dude, man, I said, you got paperwork on 50, man? Send that stuff to me, man. Let me see it. He ain't sent it, did he? Mm-hmm. If he'd have sent it, that paperwork would be right here on the Prince Miller show, showing 50 to be no good. But he never sent that work to this day. So he can't play that game with me. We're going to leave it alone, mm-hmm. right?
And there you have it. The only paperwork that's ever been out of 50, and we've talked about this probably 100 million times, is the studio stabbing incident. And that was the engineer pressing charges on Ja Rule and whoever else was there. Because the engineer, who had nothing to do with Ja Rule and 50's beef, was the one that got hurt in the whole incident. So, of course, he's going to file order of protection, sue, and all that. But because the engineer was with 50, and he's with 50's crew, essentially, 50's name got put on there as well as Yayo and all that. But it wasn't 50 directly being like, yo, I need an order of protection from these guys. There's no proof of any of that, any way, shape, or form. But yet, you'll have people push these narratives and, nobody can provide proof. Even police, there was an interview done by, I believe it's AGTV, shout out to him, where the police officer said, we tried to plant evidence on 50. We tried to convince him to snitch in every way, shape, or form. He wanted nothing to do with us. He would just cuss us out. That's it.
Again, I have to ask, so in any way, to your knowledge, has 50 Cent cooperated when it came to that shooting where he got shot 9 times?
50 Cent never cooperated with anybody, and I would know if he did. I had the whole music industry investigation business locked down. I knew everybody who was talking to everybody. There is no way he cooperated. We took a shot at him. He didn't cooperate. Through his attorney, Bob Colina, I tried to get him to, just say, if he could just say he was shot in his car and, whatever, he would not cooperate with us at all. And I think the reason why is one, he was playing the rules of the street. 2, he wouldn't have a career if he got caught cooperating. Guys have said he cooperated on an incident where he was stabbed or somebody was stabbed, maybe it was Yayo in the studio. He didn't cooperate on that, and these guys were going to sue or something. One guy sued and won some money who worked in the studio. They never cooperated.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over this because I just thought it was very interesting, especially from 50's quote-unquote enemies, people that should be like, hey, this guy's a rat, this guy's this and that, and they should be hating on him, really. But they're not. So let me know what you guys think. Let's get into it. New music. 2C dropped yesterday. Kodak Black dropped Kodak The Blessing. The mixtape Polo G dropped Weight on My Shoulders. Ludacris and Glorilla dropped Real Hustler. Molly Santana dropped Can't Touch This. Tay K dropped Everywhere I Go /Erupt. G Herbo dropped Lil Herb Edition. And Tory Lanez dropped Anything Lost Tapes 2016. So that's it for new music. Album sales, Drake is still at number 1 with Iceman, and he's scheduled to be at the 5th week at number 1 with 173,000 sold the 4th week. I believe this is the 4th week, yeah. So that's crazy, man. He's about to be number 1 still, even the 5th week coming up. And that's why Rick Ross, a.k.a. The Fraudster, pushed his album back, because Drake would still be beating him despite that. Number 2, Ella Langley, Dandelion with 93,000. Number 3, Morgan Wallen, I'm the Prom with 82,000. Number 4, Noah Khan, The Great Divide, 78,000. Number 5, debut Paul McCartney, The Boys of Dungeon Lane at 63,000. Number 6, Michael Jackson, Thriller with 60,000. Number 7, Michael Jackson. Number 1 with 55,000. Number 8, Drake, Habibti with 41,000. Number 9, Morgan Wallen, One Thing at a Time with 41,000. And then number 10, debut, Aspia Lemonade, the second album with 41,000. Interesting. I don't know these fucking artists, bro, these names. Lotto, Big Mama debuted at number 16 with 32,000 sold. Drake, Made Up Honor, number 18 with 30,000 sold. Drake, Take Care, number 32 with 22,000 sold. Chris Brown, number 47 with 19,000 sold. And that's it. For album sales, Billboard Hot 100, Ariana Grande debuted at number 1 with Hate That I Made You Love Me. She took the number 1 spot. Choosing Texas, Ella Langley, number 2. Janice, STFU, Drake, number 3. So this went from number 1 to number 3. Still in the top 5, though. That's good. Be Her, Ella Langley, number 4. I Just Might, Bruno Mars, number 5. Man I Need, Olivia Dean, number 6. Olivia Dean, So Easy, number 7. Shebang, Drake, number 8. This might actually end up going up because I'm seeing this trending on TikTok and stuff. I don't even like this song. This song's all right. Number 9, I Can't Love You Anymore, Ella Langley. And then number 10, Dracula, Tam Impala. Going down the list, Drake, Ran to Atlanta, number 12. Drake, Whisper My Name, number 18. Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, number 19, which it didn't move. That's interesting. Number 20, National Treasures, Drake. Number 22, Drake, Too Hard for the Radio. Number 26, Chicago, Michael Jackson. That went up 4 slots. That's very interesting. Don Toliver, E85, number 27. Human Nature, Michael Jackson, number 31. Drake, Plot Twist, number 32. Pop That Thing, DaBaby, number 34. Bees on the Table, Drake, number 36. Boss Man, D-Lo, Motion Party, number 37. This is climbing up too. Make Them Pay, Drake, number 39. Dust, Drake, number 40. Cinderella, Mac Miller, number 42. Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, number 45. Burning Bridges, Drake, number 46. Drake, What Did I Miss, number 49. Drake, I'm Spent, number 53. Don Toliver, Body, number 56. Make Them Cry and Don't Worry, Drake, number 57 and 58. Lil Birdie, Drake, number 60. I've seen that start to pick up too, so that might actually go up. T.I. Let Him Know, number 62. Going down the list, Drake, WNBA, number 71. And then a bunch more Drake records. Drake, Classic, number 76. Drake, Making Them Remember, number 77. Drake, Make Them Know, number 79. Ho Phase, Drake, number 81. Lotto, Hostage, number 88, debut with 21 Savage. Drake, Fort Worth, number 92. Drake, Slap the City, number 94. Drake, Firm Friends, number 95. Drake, High Fives, number 97. And yeah, that's a lot of Drake records still in the charts. So shout out to him doing his fucking thing, Drizzy. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys for supporting Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night and day whenever you listen to us, and peace.